Hi everyone. I chose to use Story Jumper, which was one of the tools that was mentioned in our first week of our modules. I really enjoyed making my book, which I'll read to you later. It's an About Me book. I think that Story Jumper is definitely a great resource to be able to use in your classroom. Some of the strengths of it was that I was able to create and personalize my own book, and it really reflects who I am as a person, and so I love that I was able to customize that. A couple weaknesses are that it was a little hard to use with my browser or with my computer system. It kept freezing a little bit, so I don't know if it was just Chrome or I have a MacBook, so I know sometimes specific programs and websites best perform if you use a specific processing system or a browser. So that could just be because I use Chrome. It might work better with Firefox or a different browser. But I found myself having to refresh a couple times when working with the text or even kind of moving around some of the pictures and the graphics in there. It didn't bother me that I had to refresh, but that's just something to keep in mind depending on the age group of students that you're working with. If they're older, I feel like they would understand that sometimes the technology can move a little bit slower, but I'm personally going to be working with younger students. I'll be certified from pre-K to second grade, so I think that this is something I could definitely use with my first or second graders, but I would not recommend using this for preschoolers. Just because they, even with kindergartners too, they don't really have that knowledge yet of like vocabulary and word knowledge, so they could use it just for pictures, and you could adapt it that way if they were to just put a graphic and then record themselves. But I feel like this tool is much more useful with students that are older because they have that understanding of creation and the details and information that they put in their books. So this is just the homepage. It shows the book that I created, and then it shows new books to read, and it also shows a published author. So this this website allows you to publish your books. So if I click on, let's click finished. So on my story, it allows me to buy my book. So if I wanted this in hardcover, paperback, an ebook, an audiobook, and it comes with a voice link on the inside, there's a QR code. So if I were to actually purchase this book, I would be able to have the audio in that way. It's really good for diverse learners too because there's a translate option. So you would be able to translate this book into a different language. So I really enjoyed that. This book is I keep saying this book. I'm so sorry. This website is pretty great. You can use it to help your students create different books about themselves, or you could create a class story together and get it published at the end of the year. I think that would be so cool to have. And so I really think that this is something that could be very useful in the classroom if used correctly. Like I said, making sure that it's age appropriate and developmentally appropriate for your students. I feel like if the students don't have that understanding of technology in a sense that would help them with this website, it's kind of just going to be a waste of time because they won't understand fully what this technology tool can do and how they can use it to be successful learners. So I think that it's more so just a fun tool. You could definitely make this into an assignment. Like I said, if you have older students, like create a book about a certain topic that you're learning about and really give it to them in that sense. But it's very interesting, and I would probably use it again. So then you're able to share your book using Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter. You can make it public. You can put it on a website. Allowing remixing, that's something where I could copy this book and kind of edit it myself. I will share a link with you guys so that you'll be able to read my book if you'd like to. You don't have to, but just so that you guys can have it. And I think that this could definitely be an extension for your students if they finish their homework or if they finish their activities that they're doing. This could be something just to even have in your reading or in your writing center, helping them just have that book creation knowledge. I know this past semester in my early childhood literacy class I took, we talked about bookmaking with young students, and it was a preschool classroom, and this teacher had just pages of paper stapled together and really allowed her students to kind of just create different books. And so I feel like that would be more tangible for like preschool or kindergartners, but you could kind of do that same thing of just exposing the students to creation of books using this website. So it really would allow your students to kind of have extra creativity and really layer their learning in a fun way. Yeah, and so this is my book. So there's some audio on it. I'm sorry if it's obnoxious. I was trying to step as far away from my computer as I could because I felt like when I was playing it back, it was very loud. So I'm apologizing now if I hurt anyone's ears.
All about Miss Serpico. This book is dedicated to all my future students. I cannot wait to meet all of you and change your lives like you will change mine. XO, Miss S. Who am I? My name is Miss Serpico. I was born on June 30th in Melrose Park. My family is made of my brother, my dad, my mom. I don't have any dogs. Yet. These are some of my favorites. I love grilled cheese and ice cream sandwiches. Not together, of course. My favorite TV shows are Friends, Parks and Rec, and The Office. My favorite games are Clue. I just learned how to play it this summer. My favorite animals are dogs. I hope to at least have one dog soon. My favorite sports. I like to play softball. I've played since I was 6 years old. I'm a really big fan of hockey. Go Hawks! My favorite subjects in school are reading and math. My favorite activities I like to do are something super hands-on and making art. My favorite project was making colorful flowers using food coloring and carnations. My favorite field trip I went on when I was in school was going downtown to Navy Pier. This summer I was in Charleston, Illinois, which is 3 hours away from here, at my Golden Apple Summer Institute. I learned about STEM, agriculture in the classroom, how to engage my students, and use social emotional learning. I also learned how to play Clue. My favorite holiday tradition that my family uses is making Italian cookies using a family recipe from my nonna. Nonna in Italian means grandma. These are the cookies. They are called cuccidati. 2 interesting facts about me are that 1, I went to Italy for school for 1 month over the summer last year. My other interesting fact is that I speak Italian. Allora, when I grow up, I want to become an amazing teacher for all of you. How about you? How would you answer these questions? Let's see what we have in common. The end.
All right, so that was my story. I don't know if any of you noticed, but I kind of had to watch with the way that the pages were flipping. Again, this could just be an issue because of my browser, or I know that the book kind of has an audio play mode, so it could auto flip the pages, and that could just be why that it maybe I kind of had to click back and forth. So again, I would just be aware, make sure that you definitely play around with this tool first for yourself. to make sure you kind of know what its strengths and weaknesses are, so that if a problem arises with your students, you kind of have an idea of how to work around it. So I'm just going to kind of show you now what this book would look like if you were to kind of make it yourself. So I chose the About Me book, and so it loads the editor. And they have tutorials available for you, so I would recommend watching them. And then here are just all the different pages, which you can see I used most of them. I excluded this Halloween page just because I don't really celebrate Halloween. Like, I don't really like it. And I made this 2 facts instead of 1. It allows you to already kind of have photos embedded, and you just click it, and then you can customize the color of your book. You can customize the texture of it. So I did a really cool, it's one of these, but I used that. And so if you go back, you can select the text and change the font. You can add props. So you just click them, and then you can kind of drag them and put them where they need to be. The scenes are the different backgrounds. So if you wanted to theme your book to have certain backgrounds the entire time, this is where you would go. And then you can add your own photos. Like I said, these are the photos that I added about my family. You can also search. So I searched like education, and then it pops up with different things. I searched teacher at 1.2 to see what clip art it offered, but you're also able to upload your own clip art. You can collaborate, so you can share this book with your friends. You can share it again through Facebook, making it public. And then you can also save and exit and then purchase your book. So yeah, this was my story on Story Jumper. I'll make sure to link it below for you guys, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks.